Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. It's 9:15 a.m., March 28th, and price of Bitcoin currently at 62.42. Okay. So I wanted to go through the smaller time frames first and show you all exactly what I'm seeing. And then we'll go to the larger time frames and then we'll look at the macro view of what's happening in and around global markets. Okay. So first things first, on the 15-minute time frame, what we've basically got is a pretty significant drop from yesterday, from the $6,700 area, and now we're dropping down, all the way dropped to 6,050 or so, and so now we're at 62.42. So what do we do in this particular situation? All right. So in our community in Cryptosomniac, we've been positioned short since yesterday. As you can see right here, we entered a short around 66.25. So we're in pretty healthy profit of about a $400 movement. And again, this is what you get with Cryptosomniac Advantage, folks. If you're not familiar with our community, we post up trades, whichever direction we're taking them in, what our entry is, what we're looking for stops, what we're looking for target profit, our reasoning and everything. We list it in the appropriate channels. So we're a pretty organized community, and everyone is typically on the same page of understanding exactly, what direction I'm positioned in. Again, I can't tell you folks what to buy or what to sell, when to short or when to long, but I can at least show you exactly what I'm doing in the markets, okay? And so this is what you pay for with the Advantage program right here. So if you go to cryptosomniac.com, hit the products page right there, you can buy Advantage and you can come learn from us, come trade with us and understand exactly how we trade, okay? I put up some quick analyses for our Advantage members yesterday of exactly, what my reasoning was to go short. The difficulty drops in Bitcoin have historically preceded more drop in price action. That was another correlation that I found out. The TD sequential, if you're not familiar with it, that was essentially a indicator that was basically telling us we had a green 9 exhaustion to the upside, meaning that usually around 9 to 13 candles, you start seeing upside exhaustion, and then you start seeing 1 to 4 candle corrections, and potentially just a complete reversal as well. So if you look over here, we had about 9 candles all the way up. You can see, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this 10th one was already starting to crack down, and I figured that it's going to break sooner than later. And so it did, right? So these are the things that we pay attention to and we warn our community about. And that's, how we want to keep other people informed and get, make sure you guys make the right decisions. Okay. So anyway, going back to the smaller time frames. All right. In this particular instance, what I see for now is potentially a range developing. So maybe we can do, let's just say, maybe this low is your first real low where you got to bounce. This could be the first real high right there. Pokes past it, takes out some stops, deviation to the upside. It comes back, tests the EQ of the range right here, which is between this low and this high, meaning that's like the 50%. What we now want to see is if we're going to come back down and head down further, or if we're going to retest this area right here around $6,300 or so, and we're going to break up past it, okay? If we break up past it, I would probably say the next big test is 64.10, and I'll show you guys exactly why 64.10 is important, okay? So that's, the smaller time frames, right? Now, if we go back to the 1 hour chart, okay, one of the key levels that's important right now is 62.33, okay? And I'll show you guys why that level matters based on the higher time frame, okay? On a 4 hour, notice that this was the key consolidation before the big drop that we had all the way to 3,600 just a couple of days ago, okay? So if we look back over here, we had a drop from 8,000 down to $5,600, popped up, had a consolidation candle, and then dropped down, okay? So usually consolidation candles like this before the drops down or even the pushes up are pretty important because you get to realize where exactly were people trying to hold the price, where exactly were people trapped, etc. Okay? So notice how price is coming back to that same area and just hovering there, right? So what we want to see in this particular area right here, whether it's today or tomorrow, is you don't want to see consecutive 4-hour candle closings above this marker, which is 62.33. Okay. If you do see that, we might be heading back up here, potentially, 6,700 or so. Okay. But I would probably say with such a, $400 or $500 drop, I'd probably say we're, going to consolidate a little bit here and potentially start dropping down further. Okay. And so if we drop down further, exactly what are our next targets? Well, we can start looking at fibs. Okay. Number one, right? So fibs are the 382 fib right there around 56.79. 50 fib is, $5,300 or so, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, if we look at this particular consolidation period right here, okay, actually, let me draw it on a clean chart here. This was the big consolidation period right here, kind of like this and like that. Okay. This area was important because you could see this was after the first bounce, we created a high of the range right there. Okay. And then we came back around, tested the EQ right there, which is the white dashed line. You can see another poke back up, but still rejected. So we came back, hit that EQ, blasted up past it, came back and tested that bottom area right here, which is the top of the trading range as support. And then we pushed up again. So if we get rejected at 62.33, more than likely we're going to come back to this area, which is around 58.90 or so. Okay, and if that doesn't hold, more than likely we're going to start targeting this EQ area. Okay, obviously there are levels in between this high and this low. There's long stops right there, long stops right there. So there's one level at a time, right? But point is that more than likely if price starts breaking that area, it has a higher chance to get to this area because that's how price gravitates from one big level broken to another. Okay, so the big level to break right now is 62.33, and it will probably gravitate price towards this area right here, which was range high. Okay, so we're gonna have to take it one level at a time, but those are the targets that I'm aiming for. Okay, all right, and on the daily time frame, this is where things get interesting. All right, now remember I told you why this, if we break back up, why 64.10 is important, right there, and I'll show you guys that on a daily time frame. Okay, so remember that in December 2019 right here, okay, we put that marker in as a low, 64.10, and then we pushed up all the way to 10,500. Okay, so oftentimes when it comes to financial markets, right, more often than not, you get to see algos and professionals try to flip a particular area from support to resistance or vice versa, right? So when we had this big push up all the way up to 6,800, 6,900, now that we're breaking back down under this area, which was previous support, right, we'd probably want to see it test as resistance right there and then start breaking down. Okay, now remember I said that that $5,800 area, which was the range high around here, right, was important. Well, that also comes from this level right here on the daily time frame. And if we zoom out on that, I'll show you guys why that level is also important. Okay, that level, $5,800 or so, $5,875 or so, comes from this low way back in February 2018. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how is it possible that all these levels from 2 years ago are even holding significance now? Folks, it's not a coincidence. This is how markets work. When the markets are so heavily defended by algos and bots trying to defend key levels, they understand the previous history of price action. They understand volume analysis, where a majority of action took place, and this is how they set out and create levels. That's just how it works. That's why in our community, we try to define these levels, based on smaller timeframes and large, and trade off that knowledge. Okay, so if you want to learn, again, come join Cryptosomniac and we'll teach you how. All right. So when it comes to Bitcoin, we are still positioned short. I still have a short bias. I still do believe that there's probably one more leg down. At the very least, I think we can get to maybe the 50%. And these three markers right here around the fib. If we start breaking these, more than likely we're heading towards this low around 36.10. Okay, and if we come to that, we're probably going to break it more than likely, and we're probably going to head to possibly around let me see here, 2,900. I think that's the first level I was looking out for. Let me see. Let me turn on the pivots just so you guys could see. First level obviously is 4,300 based on the pivots. S5 as per the daily is way down here around $2,900 as you can see. Okay, this is based off the daily pivot range. Okay, if we start looking on the weekly, we have the S1 way down here around $2,400. Okay, so it's very possible that we could get to $2,400, folks. Okay, I know people think that those are crazy prices and it's never going to happen, but you'd be surprised what happens in pandemic environments when it's a risk off environment and no one wants to touch an asset that is so volatile. When you're trying to feed your family and take care of your kids, and because you don't have a job or you don't have income coming in, you're not going to buy a Bitcoin. You're going to sell everything you can to be able to survive. Okay, and that includes stocks as well, right? This is why you saw such a huge sell off in stocks, because there's uncertainty about the future. There's uncertainty about the pandemic. Okay, same thing with gold, right? We saw gold sell off as well for the last several weeks right here, and then finally it popped back up, just like other assets did too, right? S&P 500 popped up, Bitcoin popped up, gold popped up, oil popped up. So you're going to get these relief rallies. Okay, more than likely, gold is probably going to go higher before equities do. Okay, that's just the way it is, because gold is seen as the real safe haven asset. It's not Bitcoin. There's really not many other assets other than gold. Okay, so I'll probably be picking up some gold when I start seeing equities head down again. But right now I'm positioned short on Bitcoin. I have some puts on the S&P 500, so the SPY. I have some puts on what is it, QQQ, which is the NASDAQ basket ETF. I have some puts for April, July, September, all of which, I've let my Advantage members know exactly how I'm positioned. So again, if you guys want to join and you want to join before we start opening up our new channels, folks, because then we're going to start hiking up prices, all right? Remember, the new channels that we're opening is Forex analysis and options and oil, okay? So make sure y'all come join before the prices increase, all right? Faisal and I are doing as much as we can to give content every single day to our Advantage members, all right? So come join cryptosomniac.com, products page, and Advantage membership. All right, have a good rest of your weekend and stay safe. Cheers.